And it's the Sonic cars, and one of them's upside down. We said these would be the two that were going to struggle to get back to the start line.
So that's Ange Mazeris getting out of his car. So that's looks like the 777.
Yeah, well, his teammates in the lane, so it's got to be Simon Fallon. It's a nod to the medical team. Probably trying to get his bearings right now. Sonic cars on approach. So they're trying to get their way through the traffic.
Which is what you mentioned. Just tripping over each other, everyone trying to get that one lap right.
So, that's nice. Ange had nothing to do with that incident other than he just wanted to pull up and check on his teammate.
Would set his lap relatively early in that session and then watched as everyone tried to get closer. This was Fabian Coulthard, the BWT Porsche Centre Melbourne car. He'll go off 12th. A gamble for TechWorks to throw a second set of tyres at Max Vadot's car did not work for that team. Jackson Walls, who leads the championship, 0.5 from pole. Contact there, really, just on the outside. Ran the car off the road. This
just on the dirty side of in the outside of turn 6. So just locked up a tyre and just run off on his own.
He'll be the one to capitalise now. Around goes Rodney Jane, and he was in the vicinity of Tim Miles and Danny Studdard in the Pro-Am class in the exit of turn 1.
It'll look like they're pointing in the right direction. Here he is, right behind Miles. So everything all looks good. I think, there's a bit of contact there between these two, which then I think Rodney has, with no contact, Rodney was just trying to avoid the whole situation and actually turned himself around.
Just spun in sympathy, really, in evasive action. Quite hefty contact between Miles and Studdard. Danny quite wide on the turn-in in that all-black car run by Ash Seawood.
Yeah, Timmy Miles was definitely well up inside there. And Rodney Jane actually did a really good job. It could have been a 3-car contact there, but Rodney Jane, but he's got it down to 0.6. So that's
Bailey Hall.
Bailey Hall.
Having a shocker. He'll go away with a new lap record, though, overnight. Small consolation after an off on the opening lap, and now 3 laps from home ends off.
But then Dale Wood takes over that position, and Callum Hedge does a really nice job at that point. There was a bit of contact with Sam Sheehan and
Quinn, who has switched teams this weekend across to Melbourne Performance Centre. This is just that little incident between Danny Studdard and Belfort, and I think we're putting 1 and 1 together here and getting perhaps the cause of that damage, and certainly contact between the two of them.
Safety car boards and flags, safety car boards and flags, safety car move out onto the circuit.
So don't ask me for the Tesla numbers anymore.
Noted. Pither down the inside of Russell. So it didn't happen at the front, but it did down further in the bottom half of the top 10. And Luke King, who was enjoying his best ever race, is off the road. And even worse, Adrian Flack, the leader in the Pro-Am class, is off the road in a bigger way. And there's been a change of position for second. So you called it, Craig. You were just a corner too soon. So Callum Hedge has gone through on Jackson Walls, and he moves himself to second.
It's contact again.
Quinn,
right, Quinn.
That's quite a big impact.
That's a big one. That's going to create it. And if you can't get that back, it's going to create another safety car turn 1. And then this is Ryder Quinn just trying to keep out of the way and actually created his own incident. Just lost the rear on the exit of turn 5 and clouded the arm cone. You can see the damage to that right rear tyre, and as you mentioned, it's probably punched into that rear gearbox. And then Chris Pither.
And Max Vadot was in that.
Yes.
I wonder. Saw at the start of the race the little exchange between the two of them yesterday. Chris said, I know how he races now here at Hidden Valley. He's a great driver, though. He'll bounce back. This is the contentious one. They'll look at this in race control. Coulthard down the inside. McBride having a lock-up of his own, though, as he got into the corner around him. Recently turned the big 4-0. Oh, no, off the road is that Rodney. It is the class leader, Rodney Jane. 2 laps from home. Ends up in the fence. The exit of turn 10.
Now, this is going to be an issue. He's got to find reverse. So it's a procedure. If we talk about the paddle shift and how nice. And someone else.
Matt Belfort.
Matt Belfort's gone in as well. He looks like he's going to be able to get out. Not sure if there's actually doesn't look like there's not much damage there. So I don't know whether he's just gone off in sympathy.
I think you're correct. The car out. Let's have a look. Top of your screen.
Lost the rear going in. And that's a very fast part of track. It actually crests a little bit on the top of 10 and 11. This is an on-board shot. Yeah, just lost the rear, and as soon as you go off, there's not a lot of run off there. Oh, you can hear that damage. And I was getting to the point where it's a process in the sense of paddle shift. You've got to go back to neutral, then you've got to wait, let it set. Then you've got to try and find a reverse. He's got the rear and a little bit of the front. I think I saw a little bit of the front damage as well. So he's got a rear wing. If he can actually back it out, he might be able to still at least finish this race.
It's fortunate that there's 3 rows of tyres down there to accept that impact. Wasn't the case in the past. And yeah, you were bang on. Matt Belford all on his own. Probably came around that long, loaded left-hand corner.
Fabian Coulthard.
How's the talent in this group?
Simon Fallon.
Russell around the outside on Rawley. Is there room? That's turns around. The SSI car goes into the fence hard. It was a bold, big move to go around the outside at that corner. And there's cars everywhere. Bailey Hall's out of his best ever run.
So here we go. There's David Wall down the inside of David Russell. He hits the curb and just bounces into the back left hand of David Russell, turns him around, which causes a chain reaction. You see all the smoke. Some of the cars decide to go through the grass area. There's Fabian Coulthard.
Quite bad damage to the rear quarter. Actually broke the engine mount off the chassis where the engine bolts in. And then there was some collateral damage, unfortunately. Simon Fallon, Bailey Hall, who was having a great day. And then in the background, that's Dale Wood.
Winners now on board Simon Fallon, who has got caught up in all this as well. He's nice.
Or you can drive through it, Simon.
Oh, Bailey Hall.
Nowhere to go.
Poor old Simon Fallon had nowhere to go.
That sort of forced Fabian Coulthard to go wide, and he lost quite a bit of ground on driver's left. And then this, so that's Matt Belford and Rodney Jane getting into each other. Good save from Belford. Now watch for Pancioni. He's going to come into shot now.
Oh, it's 3 wide.
So that was a Sonic car down the inside. Pancioni.
Still everyone jostling for position. Chris just tries to go around the outside. Christian. Oh, yeah, that was a chain reaction, as you mentioned. So 3 cars trying to go into turn 3 was never going to work. Chris Pitt.
The 9th position from 17th on the grid. Wood, big send on Ange Mazuris and just tagged. Oh no! He got into Thomas Maxwell. He works for him. The boss turned around the employee, and Dale Wood has turned Thomas Maxwell around outside.
Spinning around, Dale was just like a magnet. You can see there. Dale's trying to go left, but Maxwell's just following him all the way to the concrete wall. Thankfully, both cars didn't hit that, but very awkward.
And this a little bit further around. Wow, big contact actually with Tim Miles and Danny Studdard and Mark Scenic. So there's some fluid down as well. Car's been dropping some, I'm going to say coolant at the front with some radiator damage perhaps. Oh, Danny had nothing to do with that.
Nope.
Big impact from Tim Miles. You're going to battle for the first 10 laps, but it'll be a rocket ship at the end.
These two are back at it again.
No.
Oh,
no. Oh, they will both now be hauled before Carl Reiner. The driver.
Okay, Callum Hedge, Jackson Wald. Replay of a lock up there. That must be... and Belford just having a little bit of a spin on his own. Get going.
So it was Rodney Jane. They all somehow got away with it, and Jackson Walls, the championship leader, finds himself up from 5th to 2nd. Big sense, Simon Fallon, 2 deep, gets into the back of Dylan O'Keefe and turns him round. Oh, and further back, Courtney Prince gets turned, and now Rodney Jane.
So we'll need to settle down and make sure that you can finish each side of those front bumper. There's no damage on that as well. We saw that this morning's race, big bumper race.
Bailey Hall got the braking all wrong at turn 2. The inside front was locked and he went miles down the escape road, drives out, squeezed down the inside of a Doze, and this is where our race 1 and 2 winner lost all of that ground. In fact, lucky to not lose anymore. And then further back, Adrian Flack copped a hit from somewhere.
The stewards have also imposed a drive-through penalty.
Just trying to work out where Adrian Flack is. I reckon he's made contact.
Stuttered.
Because you can see the front guard on Stutter's car's dislodged, and then he's had another contact with...
So this was the first part of the contact with Simon Fallon, who came from a long way back on David Wall and then drilled Dylan O'Keefe.
And that's why, now that reminds me, because Dylan O'Keefe, when we go back, has been slowly going backwards in this field. So I reckon he's got some right rear damage.
And then this is on board, Bob Jane Cart.
That's quite a heavy hit.
It's cut and dry. You don't need a post-race investigation. Happy with his performances, and then a big brake lock-up from Callum Hedge. So there was a bit going on here. Hedge just avoided Walls, and then back of shot was the 777. So Hedge got it stopped, Fallon did not.
On board now with Simon Fallon, you can see that. Whoa, he was carrying so much more speed in there. He was lucky not to tag the back of the car in front.
So he's in a car almost every weekend this year as we watch Simon Fallon for the second time. That's not a replay of the first incident. This is him happening again. And then this occurred as well, just down into the final corner. So Pancioni on Darwood.
Was there contact there, or was it just the momentum being a rear engine configured car that just when Dale turned it in, can't quite see on that angle?
If there was, it was very light, and ironic that Thomas Maxwell should cruise through and grab a couple of spots after what happened there this morning.
Oh, this is on board again with Simon Fallon, and we got actually on board, and they all got through there really nice.
And that was a replay. Danny stuttered on Tim Miles, so they were almost side by side on the exit of turn 6. End of that sequence of fast right-handers and the front splitter missing from the Scott Taylor Motorsport car. He did that on his own.
Just understeered off the top section of that. And I'm glad he realised where he was, because you can see how many variations of racetrack loops we've got here at the Ben Motorsport Park. And I actually think it was last year we actually saw another competitor in another category.
Brilliant start for the Sonic driver. Oh, around goes the BWT Porsche. Fabian Coulthard pointing the wrong way.
Did a great job, everyone avoiding exit of 1 through 2, 3. There's Fabian. He actually looks like he may have done it on his own. He was just on the inside of Luke King and just tried to maybe over-rotate it a little bit. And again, these Porsche 992s are a rear engine. Everyone did a fantastic job to avoid the stationary Fabian Coulthard.
How was Chris Pither with everything locked up? And this is Sam Shahin. Oh, you can drive through it, Cole. Energetic battle they were having. And then the Sonic car slicing up the inside. So that was why we saw Mazuris. Oh, wow.
That was heavy contact.
Very heavy contact. Hear the funk. They'll go 3 wide and squeeze. Wolsey, the championship leader in the middle. Fallon, hip and shouldered out wide. There's drama behind O'Keefe and the car up and over. He was launched into the air. That was David Wall. And after 2 clean races, Chris Pither's involved. Alex Davison, the winner at Townsville last time out. There's big damage to the front of Dylan O'Keefe's car, Ryder Quinn.
To the main straight, please.
As well, and we're going to go safety car. They'll come into shot now is where the action all happened.
There's contact by the looks of it with Luke King and O'Keefe. Oh.
Wow, how high did that thing get launched?
There's a bit of better angle, 3 wide. The first 3 cars have a bit of contact.
So Wall was right in the middle, so O'Keefe's turned around, Max Vidalia's in the vicinity, and then Luke King, and it was actually Wall. So O'Keefe's going to be turned in the middle, there he is.
So David Wall had nowhere to go. He had Ryder Quinn on the left, and he had Luke King trying to go left.
Vidal. So O'Keefe was the one that was spun, so he's on our left, Bailey Hall on our right. So Hall's sort of made a little bit of contact with the front of Vidal's car, which has come across into O'Keefe's. Understandable.
There it is, there's contact just on the back of O'Keefe, which has just turned him around. At that point, it's not so bad, but yeah, they can see Luke King trying to avoid, runs into his teammate, which is David Wall.
McBride's thing was launched into the air as well. The number 8 car, you can see him just rejoining the circuit. So his car, so they're on the last lap. Jackson Walls is flying. Is there a little last lap showdown coming? And that's Andrew Mazuris. He's actually had a really good race. And then back to Rodney Jane spinning. Side. He'll still just lead the championship. Smart Racing is going to win you a Carrera Cup title this year. I say that, but he goes down the inside and he spins. Oh, Jackson, all season long, mistake-free, and in the final lap at the bend, he chucks it away, and Callum Hedge is going to get the race win, and he's going to get the championship lead. We'll have to double-check the round. I think Wall's got home in 12th place.
He hit the inside curb, which didn't help, but again, a rear engine configured car like this will be a great shot. See, hits the inside curb, tags the back of Callum Hedge, but then just the momentum gets him spun around.
Last minute of that qualifying session for the Pro-Am.
Wow, and we're going to have 18 pros out there in a minute, and they're going to be covered by half a second. So the fight for that is going to be wild. But go up to making up for that penalty after qualifying, but he throws it away. Spins the car backwards into the arm car on the exit of turn 3. Big damage to the back of the TechWorks car. All the hard works come undone for the South Aussie. And this will be Vidot run into turn 2, bounces over the curb, turn 3 curb, just loses the back of the Techworks 72 car, smacks the Armco. This on board with David Russell. Oh, good evasive action.
Penalty on car 17.
Voice of David Stewart, race director. We saw the 999 of Angelo Mazouras, young bloke from just the other side of the Westgate Bridge. Just loops it round on the exit of turn 1, Bob Jane T-Barts. As we go back and have a look at some battles in the Pro-Am fight. So on the outside is Dean Cook, on the inside is Rodney Jane. With everything locked up is Angelo Mazouras on the comeback trail, almost hits his team boss and manages to avoid any carnage. D. Russ is 4.6 behind. Here's another look at this down into the final chicane. Oh.
And when I say it's an awkward moment, that was, you know, pretty good thinking from Mazouras, because if he didn't...
So Miles down the inside of Belford, locks it up, a little bit of contact, and Adrian taking evasive action, unfortunately, has another awkward spin, but another spin that's probably saved quite a bit of crash damage.
Yeah, no doubt. But when you're off the brake pedal and you're not on the throttle and the car's in a bit of a neutral state there, it looks like Adrian's just had to then jump on the brake pedal, got up onto the curb, it's all unweighted incorrectly, and then round it goes. So that's disappointing for Adrian, because he had actually made some ground on those guys that he was battling with.
Contact going into that final corner from Nick. Just the lightest of little kiss from the Melbourne Performance Centre car into the Pilatus. This is the last lap, final lap of race 1 in Porsche Paynter Dixon Carrera Cup. Oh, Danny stuttered, got down the inside of Tim Miles, but the SP Tools Pro-Am runner just spins to the inside of the circuit, putting some pressure on the battle for 3rd and 4th place. Dale Woodback and former champion
David Wall, and contact between Jackson Walls and David Wall there to pull over to the driver's right-hand side. So that pretty much puts a full stop, doesn't it?
And that's a result of that contact. So 1-on-1 together and get the answer of what happened there. So he got into the rear corner of
P3, of all things. So a little bit more aero platform on those cars. What have we seen here? So he's just gotten on the gas, rear of the car's lit up. Didn't make contact with the other car, but spun to the inside and thankfully kept the car off the fence. Let's have a little look and see what happened to Tim Miles. So it'll be in the background here. Who have we got? Courtney Prince in the foreground. Oh, it looks like Tim was all on his own. Made contact on the right rear of that car with the Armco barrier. And that's that ground that you're talking about will be quite wet. So this will tell how it happened. So he's just got on the throttle, up on that curb there, and he's unweighted the outside of the car, left-hand side of the road, so they didn't all make contact.
Unrelated incident. This is Matt Belford. Oh,
Paul, the leader, car 88, has commenced the last lap.
Fence quite heavily on the exit of turn 3. That's where Max Vidot went round early this morning. Oh, it sounded worse inside than it looked from the outside, to be honest. And Bailey Hall swings past, but he's going to be swamped by the field, and it's a clean run into turn 1 for Dylan O'Keefe, and he spins, he goes round. Oh, and up, and Nick McBride launched into the air. What is going on at turn 1?
And he's taken out Pancioni, and it looks like Sam Shahin has also been caught up in this. Massive amount of damage to the left front of Shahin's car. McBride was up in the air. Pancioni looks like he's driven on. Dylan O'Keefe, no issue. Hedge going full defensive. Bailey Hall gets around him. Dale Wood gets around him. But I feel like Dave Russell behind him there.
Yes.
Or is it Fabian Coulthard that makes very light contact with the rear of Callum Hedges' car? And then once that happens, everybody else checks up. They're off the throttle. And that's where I feel like the likes of McBride, Shahin, Pancioni all get caught up in this incident here.
Looks like you're lying on the road there and it's flying over your face sideways.
Were you comfortable with that?
No, I wasn't.
So there's no contact there.
No, I think the contact, you're right.
Coulthard.
But as they all checked up trying to avoid the Team Porsche NZ car, this might show it a little bit better. So it was David Russell with smoke pouring off his tyre on the outside, and there's the contact with the BWT Porsche entry of Fabian Coulthard. Vidot taking evasive action, but then wait as Hedge spins and he does a full 360, selects first gear and drives away, but the chaos unfolds behind. So Pancioni's turned around by Adrian Flack, and then Nick McBride's sort of collateral damage in that, but with the steering lock on Flack's car, it's rolled McBride up over the front quarter of car 20, and then into the pathway of Sam Shahin, who's trying to take evasive action. So Sam really had no role to play in that. He was just trying to drive around it.
And doing nothing wrong, just trying to navigate around the incident. But, you know, unfortunately in these situations, the cars will go where they want. They're all tangled up on each other, and Sam's a bit of collateral damage there, unfortunately.
Fast start in the back, great start, Harry King from the outside of the front row. He beats the pole sitter into turn 1. Vidal away nicely, 2 cars, 3 cars.
Let's have a look at this restart. So the front row, the rear's lit up for Harry Jones. You're looking at the back, I'm looking at the front row. Harry Jones has lit the rears up, and then the car just died. What was your take on Bailey Hall at the back there, Kralsey?
So Bailey Hall collected David Wall. This is on board with Christian Pancioni. David Wall slow away in the monochrome Wall racing car.
Definitely for Bailey Hall, he made contact with the left rear of David Wall's car, took the right front out of his car and became a roadblock for, and that's what happened to Alex Davison in the 222 grass, rather than make contact, there we go, with the rear of the Bob Jane T-Mart's car.
There are tuning houses around that offer a safari version of the Porsche 911. That's not one of them, unfortunately. It has torn the little front splitter off the front of Cook's car, around winner last time out at Sandown in the Pro-Am class. Lead the race, but he's being chased down by 2022 Carrera Cup Oz champion Harry Jones. That is Darwin's Thomas Maxwell belting the fence on the run up towards McPhillamy Park. Quite a big impact there. Jones sweeps across, and they're going to trade paint on the exit, and Harry's forced out wide as they are behind. Fabian Coulthard spears across the field, but somehow they all evade him. Nick McBride's gone off to the dust. There's one of the Bob Jane cars.
Harry actually was super aggressive into turn 1. He tried to sweep across the front of King, but King was having none of it, and he pushed him out onto the dirt, and that was the bit that really compromised Harry Jones, and this is where Fabian was spinning up Mountain Straight. Oh, and Rodney's got a little helping hand there in the back of his car to push him into the fence onto the right-hand side.
This is Christian Pancioni, a little bit further back, Thomas Maxwell on his right. It's all going to unfold in front of him, and Rodney was behind at this point. These are the two rivals. These two are bash doors in Europe. They were teammates in Super Cup, rivals in Carrera Cup Germany this year, and it has been very, very hard. So the contact was Coulthard into the back of O'Keefe, but ironically it unseated the BWT car, the bright pink car, who spun across the field. Great driving Nick McBride to evade all of that in car number 8.
Just having a quick look at that there, Kralsey, I'll just add to that, it actually looked like O'Keefe got up on the curb, had a bit of a slide, had to get out of the gas a little bit.
That was that over under the hat, and then this for Garnett Patterson up at Reed Park.
Very rarely, Kralsey, that is a decent old lick of the wall there, coming up the top of the hill here underneath the tree for Garnett Patterson.
Teammate Bailey Hall behind. Watch the bright green and silver car on the exit of the Pizza Hut elbow. Whack on the Dick Johnson wall.
And let's have a look at it from this angle, Kralsey. For me, the story here is in the US, we've spoken about this across the weekend. Somebody else making contact with the wall. This is Thomas Maxwell. It's not so bad, that one. That's about as much as you're going to get away with there, I reckon.
0 to 100 time, which is the good judge of a start.
Yeah, just looking in the middle of the pack there. Oh, they're 3 wide trying to get through that middle part. Oh, there was contact. That was Rodney Jane.
I think it was a bit further up. I think it might have been Mazuris with Harry Jones squeezed out wide. Yeah, it was. So, Harry had nowhere to go and was in the tyres basically already. Mazuris was in the middle. This will show it.
Almost a repeat of what happened we saw in the category before with the Super Utes.
It's really hard to police that though, Craig, because they were all doing the right thing, trying to stay on the racing surface.
Yeah, again, Ange Mazuris is just a little bit sort of further back. But he's the meat in the sandwich, and the other two came together. And as you can see there, he's not happy. He won't be happy with all that.
And this is what happened to Matt Belford. So just torched the right front going into the beach chicane and scraped the fence, which did all the work in taking the momentum out of the car. So that could have been much worse.
He's actually taken off a quarter of the rear wing as well. So it's, you can see there, just way out of shape there. Gets the tyres and then literally, luckily, just scrapes against the wall.
Wall feels like he needs to defend, and Fabian Coulthard going a long way around. Someone's got it locked up. That was Davison in STM, and Fabian Coulthard's had dramas, and it's cleaned up Max Vidal unwittingly on the inside. as two other cars got together. Vidot was trying to pick the eye of the needle through that. So watch for Davison. He started by having a lock-up, but in front, Coulthard was going around the outside of Woods, and they sort of interlocked wheels coming out of turn 4, and then Vidot was trying to gobble them both up. Oh, Tim Miles. Oh, right into the fence on the exit of turn 4, just before the little kink there. And unfortunately, that ended the day for the Tyre Power car. He was out of the race. Thumbs up, though.
This will give us a better understanding. This is 13, at turn 12, 13. Yeah, Ans Mazuris just tries to go down the inside and gets caught up with her. So she was trying to do the right thing by getting out of the way, but as you can see through that little section of racetrack, it's very narrow. This is on board now with Ans Mazuris. You can see Courtney Prince there on the left. He will know that she's a lap car. Oh, she actually tried to come across.
Yeah.
So not really sure whether Ans Mazuris had much more he could have done at that point.
And he can drive a racing car. As we have a little look back, this is Ange Mazuris on the comeback trail, just getting up the inside of Tim Miles and Matt Belford. Oh, so with a bit of lock on both of those cars, a little open wheeler rode the front wheel over. This will show it really well from the back of Mazuris.
Oh, yep, just tripped over front wheel to front wheel, and for Belford, looks like hopefully touch wood for both of them, no damage. Understeer, and it just lost a little bit of time, but on this lap,
no, Shahin and Rodney Jane, and Matt Belford spins while taking evasive action. It looks like Tim Miles is caught in there as well. Yes, he is.
Boards and flags.
And we'll go safety car.
Turn 11.
A lot of young drivers as well. Let's go back and have a look at this.
Oh, Sam has a spin on his own, hits the tyre bundle, but at this point, as I mentioned, it's a blind approach. I think Rodney Jane comes on the... he's trying to get going, and poor Rodney Jane, and for Belford, and then Tim Miles, he was just basically a passenger in that sense, because you can't see around that corner. And when Sam Shahin's tried to take off or get going again, you'll see at the top of the screen it'll be a Bob Jane Porsche coming into sight now, but he can't see where Sam Shahin is. And he's spotted him now, but then exactly the same time, yeah, Sam's tried to get going.
And that hit from Tim Miles right into the driver's door of Matt Belford. So the roll cage looks like it's done its job there for Matt Victorian. And you can get the urgency to get out of the way, but such a blind corner, like you said, Craig, with that fence on the apex. And he's just far enough past the exit of the corner, wasn't he?
You can see the yellow flags. The officials are doing the right job.
They were quick.
They were very quick, but for Rodney Jane, just coming onto the scene at the wrong time, and then for Belford, it was a snowball effect.
The biggest hit of that was Miles into Belford, ironically. Matt was just taking evasive action. And this a little bit further back. So this is Alex Davison down the inside of Simon Fallon. And big enough contact there. It's actually opened the door on the 777 car. So that's why you saw him tumbling down the timing monitor. This on board with Alex. Down the inside.
Oh, you can hear the rears locking. As he's approached the brake zone, he's tried to pull it up into the braking area of turn 4 by Simon Fallon.
O'Keefe looks down the inside. He's got him. And Hedges had to shortcut there. Won't like that in race control. And Luke Hilton ends up backwards at 2. Everyone takes evasive action. Ryder Quinn is 13th. He's 5.1 seconds off the lead. Wow, Alex Davison. Alex was having a huge lunge down the inside. And there's massive contact. That'll be it. That'll be it. Alex.
No!
Oh, that's
Safety car
huge.
scramble.
That is huge. That'll be the race. It was Davison down the inside of Wall. Turn 11. Turn 11.
Safety car, the leader is car 17.
Davison put the move on Wall, and there was contact, and everyone got caught up. Harry Jones's car is trashed. Fallon's car got fed across to the inside fence. That was an enormous impact from Simon. And red flag. And that will be the race. Harry Jones out of his car. Big damage to the Hastings Steering's Cat car for the defending champ. Here it is, Alex Davison, 222.
David Wall just defending, and there was contact. David Wall was trying to come across and block, but you can see there, Fabian just gets through, but then, of course, it's a roadblock. That's Flack. And then Liam Talbot comes on later, and then you see, that's Adrian Flack, just finally come to an end, but there is contact there, but thankfully no one else gets involved at this point. Everyone else has been alerted by their team members and yellow flags. So that's, you can see this. Alex just trying to find a way through. Then he pulls it up, but with everything going on, just a concertina effect, and it's just happening behind that building.
So David Wall out, that's Alex Davison in the middle, Liam Talbot behind. To look at how they assess that with the red flag as well. So there are the leaders. Wall comes into shot backwards. And just watch Simon Fallon's car drill between David Wall and then the fence. And then for good measure, hits on driver's right as well. And Liam just at no point had anywhere to go, and Harry Jones was the same. Flack will live to fight another day through all of that, Craig, which for Pro-Am could be massive.
Oh, that's, you can hear that crunch.
Sounds like a NASCAR crash on an oval, doesn't it?
And it just keeps coming. Liam Talbot comes on the scene later on and just drills aside, I think, Alex Davison.
Well, this might explain a lot because Harry Jones copped a huge amount of damage here.
You can see them all trying to get out of the way. Alex gets drilled from the rear by, and it's still, look, you can see, that's Liam Talbot right at the end there. And Alex is not happy.
Oh, and there's about 350 Carrera Cup starts between these two. They're two of the most experienced blokes in the field, two former champions. The stakes in Carrera Cup have never been higher, and that shows the emotion attached. So the race was red flagged. It won't resume. They've reached the cut-off point for time anyway. Harry Jones just going over to make sure that 3 Carrera Cup champions involved there. Oh. And Harry's had to step into the middle of the two of them to separate them. This is extraordinary stuff. And Liam Talbot just in the background. Here we go. Watch the yellow and orange car. So it's on his own. Too much curb.
Lost the rear as he's tried to get the landing. This would be a better angle.
Oh. So as it spun across to the other side, here's Bailey Hall. He just set the quickest lap of the race. Here's Dale Woods. Also, it's done the full tank slapper and gyrated around the other way. Crunch, wow, that could have been much, much bigger.
This is where it's perfect braking opportunity. The front 3 are now broken away. So Dylan O'Keefe leading. Look at Bailey. He's trying to stick the nose up the inside.
Oh, and he's turned him around. That's not going to play in race control. Got down the inside, big contact, and Fabian, after all that hard work, ends up right at the very back of the field in 19th position. So this is Bailey down the inside, front wheel, sort of contact on the logo just before the BWT there of Fabian Coulthard's car. This will show it. Oh, it's probably more damning, that view, than the one from outside, I think.
Yeah, he sort of had a half-see in the background there.
Oh, Max down the inside of Callum Hedge, the Kiwi, the championship leader. Little bit of contact and around. It's Bailey Hall.
Now, was that Dylan O'Keefe in the back of Bailey Hall? We just don't know. We have to see the replay. But I'm also going to remark that Jackson Wall has the light up the tyres. He wants to get out of there.
Ooh, was it front bar to rear? That will be the question that race control are looking at.
A little bit of a marking on the right-hand rear of Bailey Hall.
Yeah, but they've been running so close for, 16 laps now that it wouldn't surprise me that they've all got front and rear bars marked.
Oh, no, he lost the rear on the entry, but there was definitely contact.
Remember that race at Albert Park. Here goes Max Vidot looking for a move on Darwood. Is he far enough alongside Wood? Shuts the door. He's squeezed on the curb and spins in front of the field. They all get out of the way. But Vidot's shot at victory is done.
Has a bit of a look, but he's too far back, but he still goes with it. But Dale Wood, we saw it on Callum Hedge. He was never going to let up. And then Max Vidot just lights up the rear tyre, spins it on a dime, and then gets going again. Did a really nice job in that regard. No one else got involved, but he will be very disappointed in that regard.
Let's have a look. That's Coulthard.
Yes, Sam tried to go for the lead in the last corner. There was contact.
Oh, how do you judge that one?
Wow. Contact, I'm not sure, but you see Callum Hedge. He saw Jackson Walls coming. He went left straight as soon as he launched off that line. Contact with Adrian Flack and Tim Miles. See Adrian Flack on the left-hand side there. Tim Miles actually got a really good start. Very open, clean air on the braking approach to the first chicane. Gets through here nicely. There was contact there.
Which was from Adrian Flack. It is. We had 2-point championship lead to Jackson Walls. This a little bit further back is Christian Pancioni, the Make It Supercar, getting down the inside of Mark Sini. So question A is Mazuris, and a very big crash for Matt Belford in the MPC ID Group car.
Turn
Rear
8.
wheels off. It's the exit of turn 8. He's across on driver's right.
The incident is turn 9, entry to turn 9, left-hand side.
And that will
Leader is
be a safety
992.
car. That's Victorian Matt Belford. He's climbed out of the number 14 ID Land car, and will jump into the medical car to be taken back for some checks after an impact at turn 8. Oh, and he got the curb on the inside, and it fired him across. He caught the rear on the outside fence, and it's torn the wheel clean off the ID Group car, and he spun across the road. So actually not a massive impact at either point there. So to drag the wheel off that initial contact, and then he's just nosed the car into that fence on the inside. But that, one of a series of moments we've seen in a couple of support categories this week.
Oh, he's hit the inside.
Yeah, it was the curb on the inside.
He clipped the inside and then actually ricocheted him straight across into that wall. But the interesting for me is that how the wheel has dislodged from the car quite easily, whether the
rotor's still on the
Yes.
hub on the rear axle of the car. So as it's oversteered, it's just broken the wheel perhaps as it's smacked the fence. It all comes down to 2 points and a Sunday shootout in Adelaide. Great start, Jackson Walls from the second row of the grid. He's going to go side by side with Callum Hedge. He must pass the 17 car. He's going to end up jumping over the chicane. Hedge as well. No! Walls has gone. He's gone into the fence. Davison and Quinn as well. That's it, all over. As long as Callum Hedge can get his car to the finish, he will win the championship.
So Callum Hedge didn't get a really good jump. He's already looking at where Max Fideau is and trying to block it. He didn't see Jackson Walls coming down the outside of him, so they were 3 wide. See how much air they've got going into that. And Callum Hedge, you can see him bouncing off the outside. A little bit of touch there with Max Fideau. Oh, actually, Callum Hedge hits the second one. Now look at Jackson Walls. Yeah, his right left rear tyre had actually popped off the rim, and which caused him to spin. Alex Davison got caught up. Ryder Quinn, Christian Paccioni, they all got caught up in that one corner melee of, you can see the cars. There's actually a bit of contact between Alex Davison and Ryder Quinn when all that was unfolding.
Yeah, they all checked up and Ryder got into, I think Alex got into Ryder. But the two title contenders, not a shred of contact between them, but both with similarly exciting parts through the centre chicane. Awesome start for Walls, and well, he had to get in front of Callum Hedge to win the title. He tried, he went the long way round. There was a little bump between Fideau and Hedge. How was the landing from Callum's car in that second leap over that exit curve? This is it from the championship leader at this point.
You can see Jackson Walls, as you mentioned, had to get to the lead. And that second bounce there where the tyre had now popped off the rim. How's the noise? Oh.
And that is championship over for Jackson Walls. Callum Hedge now just needs to finish this race and he will be Carrera Cup champion.